day to you and welcome to a very nice Zurich. Conditions absolutely glorious for athletics tonight. We're at the Lexicon Stadium, the largest city in Switzerland. Founded by the Romans, and of course the cultural and economic centre of global significance. Indeed, in some surveys it's been rated as having the best quality of life in the world. Zurich, it really is a glorious spot. And there is the stadium, upgraded last year. Tonight it sees the first of two finals of this Samsung Diamond League series. And what a 2-hour package we've got for you coming up. Well, the Weltklasse, as known, has produced 25 world records over the last 50 years. The most recent last year when Jelena Isinbayeva moved the women's pole vault world record 5 metres and 6 centimetres. And its world record weather tonight again, look, 20 degrees centigrade, just a little bit of cloud, but it's been getting better and better through the afternoon after some rain this morning. The crowd, well, it's absolutely packed. 26,000 spectators here. It was sold out some weeks ago, this arena. And the trophies up for grabs, well, the Diamond League trophies, 14 of them for the disciplines which reach their season's climax tonight. The athlete who accrues the most points through this Diamond League series and therefore is the most consistent through the entire season will walk away with $40,000 and one of those rather special trophies designed locally here in Zurich.
Well, first event on the track this evening is the women's 400-metre hurdles, and there's the start list. Ailey Child of Great Britain, Odemusu of Nigeria, Hejnova, Czech Republic, Spencer of Jamaica, Anchik of Russia, Queen Harrison, late addition to the field in 6, Morosanu of Romania in 7, and Isakova of Russia in lane 8. Ailey Child of Great Britain got to the final in Barcelona. 5 of the finalists from the European Championships in this race, including the European champion. Ailey Child finished 8th on that occasion. Odemusu from Nigeria, second in the African Championships recently, coached by the great Lee Evans, which is based out of the USA. Of course. Susanna Hejnova from the Czech Republic, just outside the medals in Barcelona. Ran a really good race in London in the last Diamond League race just last weekend. Finishing second there. And this is the unassailable leader in the Diamond race. He's already, as their caption says, is the Diamond race winner with 16 points. The world leader, Ashika Demas, is out injured, having won the first 3 of these Diamond League races. Spencer. Well, whatever happens in this race, 8 points up for grabs in this Diamond League final race instead of the usual 4, but Anchik still can't catch Spencer, the European champion. And as I said, late addition to the field, Queen Harrison. 54-55 her best this year, second in the US Championships in Eugene. Contesta was meant to be that way, including withdrawal. This is Angela Morosanu, 5th at the European Championships, and was at one point looking as though she was ready to take a medal. Very, very quickly indeed. Isakova of Russia was 1 place behind Morosanu in Barcelona in 6th place. So the race really between Anchik and Spencer. Spencer has no worries as far as the Diamond race is concerned, as I said earlier, cannot be caught, whatever the result here. And just so you're clear, it's 8, 4 and 2 points available for first, second and third. And those trophies which we saw earlier on will be handed out at the end of the evening, but Kelly Spencer already knows one will be coming her way. Plenty of other bonuses on offer here in Zurich. We've got lots of prize bonuses for world leading times. More of that as the meeting progresses. Very, very generous, the organisers. I said yesterday they're expecting to maybe lose about $350,000 in extra prize money if the weather's good. And the weather is perfect. So I hope they've got a big van parked around the back somewhere with all the cash ready. Maybe not. So Child is in lane 1. Odemusu in 2, Hejnova in 3, Spencer in 4, Anchik, the European champion, in 5, Harrison of USA in 6, Morosanu in 7, Isakova in lane 8. Kelly Spencer really got left in the blocks. Anchik got to very well, but Kelly Spencer now starting to get moving. He's already chasing it's all rushing down. Molisano, as ever, has started very quickly in lane 7. That just has Nathan Spencer started incredibly quickly through that first 150 metres. A little stutter there already for the Jamaicans, but in superb form. She ran a personal best here in Switzerland, actually just a couple of weeks ago. They said getting the strike pattern all wrong, and this is really going to trying to come back to a Molisano as normal. It's just starting to fade a little. Spencer into the home straight with a big lead here. Now, can she maintain over the last 2 flights? Takes that one well. With a huge lead here, Khalees Spencer stretches for the last hurdle. There's Nova finishing quickly. Andrew is disappearing fast. But look at the time here. Under, just outside 53 seconds. Well, I think she went for it there. We talked about the prize bonuses, the time bonuses are not bad. Khalees Spencer thought, right, I've got nothing to lose here today. I've won the diamond race for my event. I might as well chase the time. 53.33 was a personal best just by a tenth or so. There's Nova second. And she's fading very, very quickly in the home straight.
Well, she's had a long, hard season, has Khalees Spencer, but to run a personal best at this stage is pretty special. Ejnova there, second in London to the Jamaican. There's Antje. She looks very tired, to tell the truth, as she did in London just over a week ago. She was 6th at Crystal Palace last week, and tonight she was never in the running, never in the hunt. She's made the rostrum, but a long, long way back. Spencer, I can't believe how quickly she started. She held on well. So at this stage, on to that penultimate flight, and so often the chasers begin to run them down. Fortunately for her, I think both the Russian Antje and the Czech there in second place. Ejnova are running on tired legs as well. In fact, she does stretch away towards the line. It's a very, very strong run indeed from Khalees Spencer. And it maintains that winning streak that stretches back to Gateshead, some 6 or 7 weeks ago.
Well, she really went for it, and 400-metre hurdles is all about rhythm, isn't it? It's all about sticking to the stride pattern. And yes, when you start to move into personal best territory, then you've perhaps got to take 1 or 2 risks, and she certainly did that. But rewarded with a personal best, and she'll be lifting one of those trophies later on this evening. Huge crowd in here, 26,000, fabulous atmosphere already. You can hardly hear yourself. Personal best, 53.33 for Spencer, winning that one. Ejnova, 54.54, another good performance from her. And Odemusu it was who came through for 3rd place, 55.11.
Well, there have been several field events going on over the last hour or so. One of them, the women's long jump, which came to a climax just a little while ago. Pustela of Switzerland brought a big roar from the crowd with 6 metres 70 in the 6th and final round. That was the best of her series. Pustela, who failed to qualify for the final of the European Championships, taking 3rd place. 2nd place going to Lyudmila Kolchanova of Russia. 5th in the European Championships, Kolchanova, 6 metres 73 for her again, coming in that 6th and final round. But the outstanding winner here tonight was Brittany Reese, who's already ahead in the Diamond League points. This confirmed her as the champion. The American jumping 6.89 with her very first effort. She followed that, can you believe, with 5 no jumps. Yes, she didn't really need much more. But she is the world champion, an easy world number 1 last year. And the 23-year-old confirms that form, maintains her form after what has been a great season with this victory tonight by some 16 centimetres. You wouldn't know it, but she's just won $40,000 and is the inaugural Diamond League champion in the women's long jump. That was round 1. That was followed, I can tell you, with 5 X's across the following rounds. She could have been caught tonight by Klishina or Gomez or even Brianna Glenn, but none of them in form. Gomez finishing in 4th tonight with the 6.67. Glenn way down in 8th place with a modest 6.45. So Brittany Reese, despite that relatively raw talent of hers, that technique of hers, I'm sure her coach Joe Walker will work on it in seasons to come. And there is so much potential there. Don't let's forget, she jumped 7.10 last year. Her best this year, just shy of 7 metres. Tonight, likewise, 6.89, that winning distance. Confirmation of the result then, the win for the American, 6.89 to Kolchanova's 6.73, and a good evening for Pustela of Switzerland, 6.70 to take third place. Well, the 400 metre hurdles producing a very fast time for the winner there. The another field event underway is the vault.
Well, this is Lacey Jansen, and she's been, well, hanging on by the skin of her teeth. You probably saw there she had 3 attempts at 4:41, had 2 attempts even at her opening height at 4:21, but since then started to look much better. First time clearance at 4:51, now the bar is 10 centimetres higher, and this would represent a new personal best for the American were she to clear it. An event which of course has missed Zimbabwe this year, and all the reports are she's ready to come back next year. And if we see Lacey Jansen maybe take her attempt before, you can see the athletes already on the far side getting ready for the steeplechase, which promises to be one of the highlights of the evening. This is one of the some of the events. Well, the diamond race is almost over, but certainly not in this one.
No, far from it. No one's broken 8 minutes so far this year, and that is the target this evening. So the third quarter needs to be paced hard to keep it on tempo. Haran Lagat has been given that job along with Elijah Chelimo, but what a field it is. Diamond League leader is Paul Kipsiele-Koech, the Olympic bronze medalist from 2004, has had good wins in Stockholm and London over the last fortnight. There's Jon Lukjanov, World Student Games champion last year, 4th in the European Championships, the Moldovan. Jim Kowiak of Poland was 5th in the European Championships. These men, I suspect, will really struggle to mix it with the best of the Africans. Blanco de Hoes Blanco, the bronze medalist from the Europeans. Huling of the USA, their champion, has broken new ground this year. Patrick Langat is an 809 man this year. Bob Tari, the European Championship bronze medalist. Silver medalist rather over the steeplechase. Shaheen is the world record holder but struggling to get back to his best. Mekissi Benabad there in red. He is the European champion for France. Can he mix it with the Kenyans? And there is Kipruto. Primin Kipruto, the Olympic champion, the world champion from 2007. The 10th fastest man in history. Ezekiel Kemboi. He has 7 points. He's 3rd in the Diamond League standings. He's the reigning world champion, is Kemboi. He won here last year and has 3 World Championship silver medals prior to that world title from Berlin 12 months ago. There's Koech, won here in 2008. His compatriot Kemboi last year, as I said, 6 times Koech has broken 8 minutes. He's the 5th fastest man in history, and tonight several of these men determined to break that classic barrier this evening. Watch the French though. I should be fascinated to see whether or not Mekissi of France does chase the Kenyans, try to stay with them. The surprise Olympic silver medalist last year, he really did manage to, a couple of years ago rather, he really did manage to mix it with the Kenyans. And it would be nice to see him do so again tonight after he and Bob Tari, his French teammate, totally dominated proceedings in Barcelona, the Olympic Stadium a couple of weeks ago to take the gold and silver in what was a pretty special week of athletics for the French squad. So away they go then. Koech leads the Diamond League standings with 13 points from Kipruto with 10 points and Kemboi 7. So any of those 3 could still win. Remember, double points at this first of 2 Samsung Diamond League finals. The next is next week in Brussels. 8 points for the winner, 4 for second, 2 for third here tonight. And they certainly set off Steve Graham in a very purposeful manner. It's almost a single file after less than 200 metres.
Well, one of the criticisms has been that the pacemaking has been well, not of its the highest standard, let's put it that way, particularly steeplechase, and that's why they switched it around. So Haran Lagat, who's now is the leader, has been given the job of taking the first lap ahead of Elijah Chelimo. And Chelimo, you probably saw Tim through that first 150 again, went off. It was so hard that Lagat had to work hard just to get in front of him, and of course the 2 of them now find themselves again a little bit too far ahead of there's Koech, the leader, wearing the blue number, the leader of this diamond race. So they've got a race to contest behind the pacemakers. Yes, there's a desire to get fast times there. Looks like Mekissi is interested in going with the pacemakers, but I think the ones who or who are in the contention for the diamond race, are probably less interested in how fast this has run over the first 3 or 4 laps. But nonetheless, pacemakers have taken them through fairly quickly. Then McKissy of France slotted in behind them, so effectively the race leader there in the red.
Blanco right at the back a moment with that blonde shock of hair, the Spaniard in the white vest to extreme left of the picture. But it is indeed McKissy who slots in there behind Lagat and Chalimo, and I wonder whether or not he's in fact chasing here Bob Tari, his teammate, Bob Tari's European record. Tari, who has raced very, very little this year, in 6th, 7th place there. Tall, gangly figure. Got great flat speed though. McKissy there, unheard of prior to the Olympic Games, frankly, on the international scene. When 2 years ago, as I say, he took the silver medal. I tell you what, he's really up for it here, McKissy. It says in his number, McKissy Benapad, but he has put out an instruction just recently to say, I want to be known as McKissy if you get the Benapad. It hasn't got through, obviously, to the guys that do the numbers, but they're looking strong, coming around the bend into the straight. It is Lagat leading from Chalimo, McKissy in 3rd in the red there, Koech 4th, Kemboy 5th, and then Kipruto in 6th place. So it's being set up well. The first 1,000, 2:38, well inside 8-minute schedule.
Well, one event already finished in the field is the men's discus, and again this one was hanging in the balance a little bit, and there was a surprise performance from Mario Pestana, who led early on in the 3rd round, went out to 66.49. Sorry, this Spanish athlete Mario Pestana, and at that point was leading the competition. Now he really wasn't figuring in the race for the diamond race. This man was. This is Malachowski, the European champion, the Olympic silver medalist, and he knew he had to perform well, and finally in the 5th round he found a big throw. And that one went out to 68.48. And at that point, well, he knew not only was he doing well in this competition, he was leading it at that stage, but he was pretty much securing the diamond race. But a couple of minutes after that, in steps Robert Harting, very experienced German. And he started to come good in the second half of the season, took the silver in the European Championships behind the big pole. And then just reversed the order here, not by much, 68-64, just 16 centimetres further, but it was enough to win the competition on the night. But it was the big pole, Piotr Malachowski, who walked off with the big prize. Cavaggio and Canto, who both had chances of doing well here tonight, could only finish 4th and 5th, and had either of them won because of the double points, they would have carried off the diamond trophy. So Harting wins on the night. It's Malachowski's season, and it certainly has been a good one for him. European champion and now winner of the diamond trophy. There's confirmation of the distances. As I said, not much in it. 68-64, 68-48 for Malachowski and Pestana. Surprising a few there, sneaking into 3rd place, 66-49, Cavaggio and Canto. Not getting any points on the evening, so for Malachowski, in the end, clear winner of the diamond race on the men's distance.
Well, back to this 3,000 metre steeplechase in the arena. Both pacemakers out now. Remember the first kilometre, 2:38.02. We're looking for around 5:20 at 2 kilometres. There it is, 5:20.82. They're still on something pretty much spot on for 8-minute pace. 2:42 that 2nd kilometre. It did slip a little bit. Lagat dropped out after just 3 laps, the initial pacemaker. I was expecting him, and we were told he would probably stay in slightly longer than that. And we've got Koech now from Kemboy. These two beginning to get away. McKissy, perhaps a little over-enthusiastic in the early laps. You can see at the back of that group now, back in about, 9th place, 8th place. And it's a Koech now with 2 laps to run from Kemboy. Remember, Koech has 13 points. Kemboy 7 points. If Kemboy were to win and get 8 points, he wouldn't catch Koech, that's for sure. But these 3 are well away. So these 2, I should say. good to see, although he's beginning to struggle a little bit now, back in about, what, 6th place. The world record holder, Saif Saeed Shaheen of Qatar. He's won here 5 times as Shaheen. He's never lost here, in fact. But his last steeplechase, he failed to finish. That was in Lausanne back in early July. Those two head on their merry way. Koech with a blue number because he's the Diamond League points leader. Takes the water jump for the penultimate time. Kemboy with that little head nodding style of his, staying on his tail. Now, can Koech shake it clear here? There's a bonus of $20,000, by the way, for the winner if he runs under 8 minutes. He sets a new world lead. $10,000. Anybody else who gets below 8 minutes. There's some incentive for these two, and at the bell, 6:59, Steve.
Well, Koech has done his best to run the finish out of Kemboy, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. He knows that 9 times out of 10, Kemboy can get past him. Koech has had the better of the races recently. Kemboy's just kicked a little early here. He looks behind. Koech has been working so hard to try and run away from the field. He still has a chance here, and maybe, just maybe, Kemboy's just kicked a little early there.
I'm just watching Bob Tari in 4th place, about 30 metres down, but really pouring it on at the moment, Bob Tari. And Kemboy leading from Koech. Critical how they take this final water jump. Although that gap is growing, it's 4 or 5 metres now. Kemboy, a little stutter there. Koech grabs a metre or two on him, comes out of the water well, but Kemboy is very powerful through the last 100. Back in 3rd place, Montari going well. I don't think we're going to see some 8 minutes. It's going to be very exciting indeed. They really have struggled to maintain a 67% pace on his final lap. It's going to be just shy of 8 minutes. Kemboy with 30 metres. Koech jogging home. Montari will have to wait for another chance to break 8 minutes. He crossed the line in 3rd place in around 8:07. Shaheen there in 6th place. Kiplagat, I think that was in 4th place. But that's a good run from Montari to get amongst the Kenyans. Conditions, if you've just joined us with Steve Cram, myself, Tim Mutson's with you now for well over an hour and a half yet here from the Leicester in Zurich. Absolutely glorious, about 19 or 20 degrees. A little bit of cloud about, but not a lot. Very, very little wind. And this track surface we know is very fast. We had a sub 10-second 100-metre race earlier on in one of the warm-up races, can you believe? Well, Kemboy there, happy to celebrate with the crowd as Gil Kemboy. He is the reigning world champion. He's the Olympic champion from Athens, albeit 6 years ago, and he was defending his Zurich title, if you like, having won 12 months ago. His coach, by the way, one Moses Kiptanui, so he gets advice from the very best. Kiptanui, of course, himself a former 3-time world champion and world record holder in this discipline.
It's good to see Kemboy hanging on there. And, you know, they've had so many good tussles this season. I feel a little bit sorry for Koech. But it means that he'll still hang on to that Diamond League or Diamond Race trophy. I'm sure he would have liked to finish with a win though, but because he still gets 4 points, and he'll still stay in the lead. Kemboy not quite able to catch him on the points, although tonight he came out absolutely on top. I love this steeplechasing here as well. You always, over the years, do some great steeplechase events here in Letzigrund.
Well, I was just checking, Steve. We were talking about Kiptanui just now. He did set a world record here back in 1992, Moses Kiptanui, 8:02. In fact, about a second slower than Ezgil Kemboy. His charge won with tonight. Confirmation of that season's best for Ezgil Kemboy. 8 points for him, but he does finish in 2nd place in the Diamond League standings from Paul Kipsiele Koech, who becomes the Diamond League champion. Bob Tari there, 3rd place, just keeping the European end up.
Well, Zurich, always known for their big sprint events over the years. The next event on the track will be the women's 100 metres. No men's 100 tonight, it's the 200 for them, although there's a big relay event later on. Tyson Gay is here in Zurich. He'll be running in the relay in an American team.
Good crowd and a knowledgeable crowd, and those are the trophies. Koech has just assured himself of one. We've seen Brittany Rees take one in the long jump, and plenty more to be earned here tonight. Next event on the track, the women's 100 metres. That'll be followed by the men's 400. But coming up later on, there's men's 200, women's 400, women's 1500, the 110 hurdles with Dave Oliver perhaps chasing a world record in the men's 5,000 as well.
So there's the lineup for the women's 100. The new European champion, Soumaré of France on the inside, Simpson of Jamaica, Myers USA, Jetta of the USA, Campbell Brown of Jamaica, Okagbare of Nigeria, Baptiste of Trinidad, Seiler of Germany and Okbaribo of Norway. Conditions, as we said earlier on, absolutely perfect. It's about 20 degrees. We had a couple of 100-meter races earlier on, actually, and some of the guys who are running in the relay were running and had a very swift time initially. It came up as 9:95 into a headwind for Trell Kimmins of the USA, but that result has since been taken off. A couple of the athletes actually stopped in the race and were a bit confused as to whether there'd been a false start or not. We'll maybe try and clear that up later on when we get round to the relay, so we'll see exactly who did what. But every chance of a very quick time here. This is Myriam Soumaré, won the European 200-meter title in surprising circumstances. Sharon Simpson in lane 2. Now she's starting to come back to some sort of form. Silver medalist, of course, in Beijing. Marchabette Myers, talking about surprises. Well, she certainly surprised everyone in London the other night in the Diamond League there. Getting ahead of Carmelita Jetta. Looked good in the heats and then produced a sparkling run in the final. 25 years of age, 10.99, her best this year. But Jetta at times has looked as good as she did at the back end of last year, but then on the odd occasion, and again it was the case in London, just didn't look very sharp at all. Well, not as sharp as she has been. But the smiles are there, she looks relaxed and ready to take on perhaps the favourite tonight, Veronica Campbell-Brown. Hasn't raced as much as Jetta. In fact, the last time we saw her on the circuit was in Monaco. Was beaten by Jetta on that occasion. The two of them have been very well matched all season. Blessing Okagbare, she was another surprise package the other night, ran a cracking heat, didn't run quite so well in the final. Of course, the Olympic long jump bronze medalist, having a superb season over 100 metres as well. Kellyanne Baptiste from Trinidad and Tobago. She's actually from Tobago as such, gets the ferry across, I'm sure, to Trinidad. And they're very, very proud of course, their sprint athletes. She wasn't had the best of years, and Verena Seiler had a fantastic Barcelona, didn't she? Winning the 100 metres there. Bit of a hangover, I think, since then, as many of the European champions seem to have had. Okbaribo of Norway in lane 9, using 9 lanes in the home straight here. So the two big names right in the middle, lanes 4 and 5, Carmelita Jetta, Veronica Campbell-Brown. Jetta, an unassailable lead as far as points are concerned, but this is Zurich, and winning the 100 metres here, doesn't matter about the diamond race. She'll be trying to make sure that Campbell-Brown doesn't reverse the positions they found themselves in Monaco. Quickest in the world this year, set by Campbell-Brown, 10.78 in Eugene back in July. Campbell-Brown gets the best start, just leaves Jetta by half a metre or so, but here comes Carmelita Jetta, and Myers is going well also, but Campbell-Brown still has the lead, and Campbell-Brown starts to go away again. Campbell-Brown, oh, and Jetta maybe just got it on the line, and almost falls over. The two of them are looking, they're not sure, I'm not sure. Campbell-Brown was ahead until 5 metres to go, and then right at the end just seemed to not be able to maintain, and Jetta leaning for the line, may have just got there. We'll have to wait for the photo finish here, Tim, but that was oh so close. All the way down, Campbell Brown looked as though she had it. But Jetta never gave it up, and right at the end, got back on terms with the Jamaican.
Well, she had such a brilliant start, did Veronica Campbell Brown. It was there to lose, frankly. Jetta is strong over the second half, but she starts leaning forward. Look at her here, overstriding, leaning forward. She over-anticipates the line. Jetta, her form is not exactly great there, rocking from side to side, but look how tight it is at the line. Oh my word. Place your money now. I thought Campbell Brown just got it there. Very tight indeed, although she's got the advantage of being on the near side in that shot. And Steve, exactly the same time, but they've given it to the Jamaican.
They have, and of course the time just goes down 200ths of a second, but they'll very quickly on the photograph, we'll be able to see when they get down to thousandths of a second who's won that. And Campbell Brown, well, she just hung on there. Jetta almost out-leading her. 10.89, super fast times by the two of them. And I know people don't always want to hear us talk about money, but there was a $10,000 extra bonus for anyone who went under 10.9, so both of them will receive that. It's a little bonus for Comley to Jetta, but you know, I'm sure, positive, she would have preferred to have won that race there. Look how hard she was fighting for it. Out of the blocks, Campbell Brown certainly the quicker. Started much better, but then Jetta so strong over the last 20 metres or so, and then it was all in the lean. Campbell Brown, when she crossed the line, thought maybe I've lost that. There it is. Well, you sort them out. That's why we have photo finishes.
It is indeed, down to the thousandth of a second, and that's when, of course, you realise how important a good start is, frankly. Give away just a few hundredths at the start, could be the difference between winning and losing, and therefore, a couple of noughts on your paycheck. But she has been phenomenal, Campbell Brown, this year. We've hardly seen her, VCB as she's known, hardly seen her since New York, where she inflicted the only defeat of the season on Alison Felix over 200 metres.
Same time for first and second, but Veronica Campbell Brown gets the nod, 10.89. Carmelita Jetta, 10.89 also. And Marchevette Myers continues her improvement with a season's best, almost a personal best, 10.97.
Well, back to this men's high jump, and Jessie Williams here, who's been in very good form. Second in London last week, Williams. Oh, that's a nice clearance from Jessie Williams. 2.26 there for Williams first time, maintains his clean card. 2.20, 2.23 and 2.26. Very high caliber field here, as you would expect in this final. It includes, of course, Ivan Ukov, the Russian, who surprisingly was beaten into second place at those European Championships. Here he is, Ukov, winner in London, pops over 2.26 himself. He passed at the previous height, by the way, 2.23, but came in a height earlier than Williams. They've each had 3 jumps, each with a perfect card so far. The Russian record holder, 2.40 last year in fine fettle.
Well, the men's high jump is right down on the first bend, and you can see some of the crowd are allowed to stand on that person, absolutely loving it. Dimitrik, though that's a failure for him. And he had a bit of a scare at 2.20, had a third time clearance at 2.20, and it's been pretty plain sailing up until now. So that's a first time failure at 2.29. Currently in 4th place. So just Williams and Ukov have been clear all the way through so far this evening. And there's as ever, cracking atmosphere. The Letzigrund just has to be one of the best places. It doesn't matter whether you're a track athlete or in the field. And since it's been, well, I hesitate to say upgraded, it was a fantastic stadium anyway, but it's gone through its transformation. There's a little bit more room for everybody around the stadium, but it still has maintained a fabulous atmosphere.
Well, speaking of a fabulous atmosphere, this should be a cracker. The men's 400 metres, there's the lineup. Martin Rooney going lane 1 for Great Britain. Borley, the European 6th placer. His brother Kevin took the European title in 2. Warner, the Diamond League leader, goes in lane 3. He can't be caught, Jeremy Warner. He has 20 points accumulated, the American. Big wins in Lausanne, Paris and London recently. He's really picked his races carefully. He's raced very sparingly. Lane 3 a good draw for him, because outside him is the fastest man in the world this year, Jamaican Jermaine Gonzalez, who has 10 points. Can't catch Warner. There's Martin Rooney. Well, the European Championship bronze medalist. Only 6th in London last week. Looks a little tired there, quite frankly. Big man, lane 1, not a great draw for him. Jonathan Borley goes in lane 2. Only 7th in those European Championships, but he's the fastest in Europe this year. He's the older of the two Borley brothers. Outside the Belgian is Jeremy Warner. World champion in 2005 and 2007. Olympic champion back in 2004. And just rounding into his best form, frankly, is Jeremy Warner. 44.49 recently. Almost a full second, just over a second, in fact, outside his best from 3 years ago. But he's looking better with each race. There is Gonzalez now. Fastest man in the world this year, a new national record. He was a bronze medalist, almost unnoticed, I suppose, globally at the Commonwealth Games 4 years ago. But second in London to Warner a week ago. And looking for a bit of revenge here, perhaps. Ricardo Chambers, another Jamaican, who was 3rd in London behind Warner and Gonzalez. He goes in lane 5. The winner in Gateshead 5 or 6 weeks ago. And the world number 3 this year. Then Angelo Taylor. He's run mostly 400-metre hurdles this year. He's twice Olympic champion at that discipline. Now 31 years old. He's run 44.7 this season, the American. He's out in lane 6. And it'll be very interesting to see how well he copes here with the flat. Michael Bingham, the European Championship silver medalist for Great Britain, formerly of the USA. Only 4th in London last week. One of a host of Europeans who did look very, very tired in the British capital. And then in lane 8 on the outside, Ireland's David Gillick was probably very disappointed with his 5th place in Barcelona at the Europeans. He's the 2nd fastest European this year after all. A bit of an indoor specialist, twice European indoor champion. But, well, a chance to redeem himself a little bit here perhaps and beat some of the other best Europeans. Can he get amongst the Americans and the Jamaicans? Warner beat Gonzalez. There's Warner in green, Gonzalez nearest the camera in blue. Beat Gonzalez in London last Friday, 44.67 to 44.80. There was only about a metre between them. The lineup from the inside again then in this men's 400 metres. Martin Rooney in 1, Jonathan Borley of Belgium in 2, Jeremy Warner, the Diamond League leader, in 3, Gonzalez in 4 for Jamaica, Chambers 5, Taylor 6, Bingham 7, Gillick in lane 8. Jeremy Warner there is already confirmed as the Diamond League winner for this discipline. He's in 3, Gonzalez in 4. And away they go. Warner said after London last week he thought he went out too easily over the first 200, but he's certainly gone out quickly here. Look, there, centre of picture in the green. He's made up a metre or two on Gonzalez, but the tall, striding Jamaican is beginning to get into his running now. And Warner's got a race in his hands here. Gonzalez running blind, so to speak. It's a significant advantage for Warner to be inside him, but that gap has grown. Warner with a lot of work to do over the next 150. Gonzalez certainly leading at the moment. Warner now, just over 100 to go. Going well in lane 5 in the yellow is Chambers. But now Warner comes up to the shoulder of Gonzalez. The Jamaican seems powerless to do anything about it. Warner's going to take it again by 2 metres this time. Outside them in lane 6 there. Taylor takes 3rd place. And look at the time. 44.14. It's the fastest time in the world this year. By some margin too. It was Gonzalez. 44.40 from Monaco 3 weeks or so back. Now 44.13 it's been rounded down to. And once again for Jeremy Warner, under the tutelage, remember, of his coach Clyde Hart. Sub 44 seconds comes into focus, and that was a very, very convincing run indeed. He did have that big advantage, Steve, being inside Gonzalez, but he went out hard, then coasted, it seemed, that middle section. Came back very, very strongly indeed, and that was Warner almost back to his best, just about unbeatable down the home straight.
I think you're right, Tim. He's getting better and better. He went out with real menace here. Look at this. You can see he started quickly, as you said. But once he was up into his running and got through the first bend hard, he realised that Gonzalez had gone out quicker. And, of course, Gonzalez, he's a bit ragged at times, and when he gets tired, of course, that raggedness just starts to affect him even more. Warner maintains much better down the home straight, holds it together better, and therefore is able to take out half a second almost from the start of the home straight to the finish on Gonzalez. But that young man is getting better, is improving, and Warner will have to be at the top of his game. That is the quickest time, as we said, Tim, in the world this year, 44.13. And I would suggest, as you said, it's the best that we've seen from Warner for quite a while.
Well, the crowd soaking this up and loving it. The stars and stripes are out, and he's proud to wear those now. Remember, he lost his Olympic title in Beijing. Hasn't looked at his best for a couple of years and more now. During that period, he went away and experimented with a new coach, Jeremy Warner, with Michael Ford, who remains an advisor. But confirmation of that win for Jeremy Warner. Fastest time in the world this year, $20,000 bonus for that, 44.13. Gonzalez, 44.51. Taylor, a good third there in his season's best, 44.72.
And the Europeans, Tim, continue to look like a rather tired bunch. Borley, Rooney, Bingham, Gillick, all well off the pace. Now this is Ukov, men's high jump. And continues on his serene way. First one to go clear. 2:29 first time. Goes into the lead. Jesse Williams was ahead of him only because Ukov had come in earlier into the competition. Well, that was from a little earlier, mixing to a couple of the replays. I apologise for that. The main thing you need to know, Ukov is leading. So he's the only man clear 2:29 at the moment.
Well, darkness gradually descending over Central Europe. It's a lovely evening. If anything, it's getting more still. You can see the crowd in t-shirts, lightly dressed. And this is so good after the last couple of days. Women's javelin. Well, the third placer, Catherine Molitor of Germany. It's Nagara Balamaika throwing a 60.38 with her opening effort. That put her in the lead at that stage. European Championship 8th placer, Balamaika. And there is Molitor. Balamaika caption a bit of a red herring, I think. Christina Obergfall. Well, the German is the European Championship silver medalist. A bit of a banker for the Germans, the Olympic bronze medalist. And Obergfall with her opening effort going out to 64.33. Only fourth in London was Obergfall. Maybe a little bit of fatigue creeping in there, although it was, of course, a week and more after the Europeans. But
yeah, the women's javelin.
I'll tell you what, they're getting themselves tied up in knots a bit there, because her first throw was not 60.51, or if it was, our computer's telling us she threw 64.33. So apologies for that confusion. Line up for the women's 100-meter hurdles, the next event. Hildebrandt, Nadina Hildebrandt of Germany. German number 2, but made the final in Barcelona, did well to the 22-year-old, finished 8th there, but picked up great experience and has just dipped under 13 seconds this year. She will struggle in this company though, just wait and see what's coming up to her right. Looks nervous, doesn't she? Great experience this though, bank it all. Kristina Vukicevic of Norway just missed out on the medals. Did Vukicevic, 4th in the Europeans. European under-23 champion last year. A disappointing 8th in London last week. Let's hope she's recovered more. And then the European number 1 this year, but can only take the bronze medal at Barcelona. This is the German Caroline Nitra. Hasn't raced since Barcelona, incidentally. Lolo Jones, the world number 2 this year. She won here 2 years ago. It's come off the boil a little bit by her standards in the last fortnight. 3rd in Stockholm, 3rd in London. But twice world indoor champion Lolo, and on her day, just about unbeatable. She is the 2nd fastest in the world. Now there's a fascinating athlete. The surprise European champion in lane 5, Nevin Yanit of Turkey. World Student Games champion last year, but what a series of races she put together in Barcelona with national records in the semi-final and that winning final performance. Priscilla Lopez-Schleep of Canada, the world number 1 after that big win in London. 12.52 in the wet at Crystal Palace 6 days ago. She goes in 6th. Derval O'Rourke, she has a wonderful championship temperament, raised her game in Barcelona to take the silver medal behind the champion Yanit. This isn't a Diamond League event, by the way. The final for this one will be in Brussels next week. Zurich of Switzerland. Well, the 21-year-old made the final in Barcelona and finished in 7th place. Broke 13 seconds for the first time at the Swiss Championships this summer, so she really has come on, and come on very well indeed. 12.84 she ran at the Swiss Championships to make a big breakthrough. And then this 9-athlete field completed by Yevgenia Snigur of Ukraine. 5th placer in European Championships. Only 8th in Stockholm. But a 12.60 athlete at her best. If she can get down to that sort of level, she could get her in the top 3 here. Lola Jones, who does lead the Diamond League from Priscilla Lopez-Schleep. But they've got 14 points each. She leads on a win-loss record. This, though, remember, not a Diamond League event tonight. That final comes in a week's time. The lineup from the far side again. Hildebrand of Germany in 1. Vukicevic of Norway 2. Nitra of Germany 3, the European Championship bronze medalist. Then Lolo Jones in lane 4, fourth from right. Nevin Janit, the European champion, in 5 for Turkey. Lopez-Schleep of Canada in 6. Dovle O'Rourke of Ireland in 7. And Lisa Urek of Switzerland in lane 8. With Snigur of Ukraine in lane 9. Lopez-Schleep in 6. Jones in 4. European champion Janit in between them in 5. Well, away they go. Great start from Janit in white, their centre of picture. Lopez-Schleep leading at the moment. Lopez-Schleep going away. Lola Jones has got past the European champion too. Vukicevic going very well. Nitra, it is of Germany. Lopez-Schleep from Nitra and Lola Jones, I think 1, 2, 3 there. And the time 12.54. Well, it's so close to our winning time in London a week ago. 12.52 at Crystal Palace. And she's on the boil, isn't she? It's Priscilla Lopez-Schleep. Boy, oh boy, she's probably been the most consistent athlete this year. She's a joint Diamond League leader, remember, with Lola Jones. And if she can repeat that run next week in Belgium, she will become Diamond League champion. A meeting record, no less, and that's quite something in the Letzigrund, believe me. That'll be a $10,000 bonus for the Canadian.
But Tim, Lolo Jones, as ever, didn't get the best of starts. Nitra alongside of the German, running very well at the moment, maintain that really good form here. But Lopez-Schleep gets out of the blocks well. She has Janit alongside her, who is a quick starter, but she's been so strong recently, as hurdling's been so crisp, and when she gets into that sort of rhythm, she's strong enough to maintain over the last 2 or 3 flights. And just what happens to Lolo Jones here, about there, just hits that hurdle. How many times have we seen that? Of course, happened to her at the Olympic Games famously, but clear win. I don't think she was ever going to catch the Canadian. I just get a view of it here. She was coming, she was trying to get there, but really was struggling to get back on terms with Lopez-Schleep, and Nitra at that point was alongside her, in fact, if anything, a little bit ahead, and went on to take a clear second place. Well, there's your winner though. And it was a clear win indeed. And Zurich ran very well, finishing 4th place. They've got very high hopes for her here in Switzerland. She's very, very popular. And the Swiss are actually starting to get quite a few athletes at the moment. They had 1 or 2 close. How would you say that? Nearly got in the medal, shall we say, in the Europeans, Tim.
Well, Lopez-Schleep from Nitra and then Jones. 1, 2, 3 there. The time's quick for Lopez-Schleep. Fabulous stuff.
Well, this is, we'll try and clear up for you. Christina Obervogel in the javelin, which is really yet to get going for many of them except her. And she'd thrown 64.33 in the first round and went even further in the second round, 64.98. And if I tell you that in the first round, Spatakova, who of course is leading the diamond race and would be the favourite, threw 54.78 in the first round and has still struggled in the second to just go beyond 61. Gives you an idea, conditions aren't great here tonight for javelin throwing, but Obervogel is sitting very pretty on the top there. So, next to go, Abakumova from Russia. In 3rd place at the minute, 62.51. And they've been getting cracking support, as I said, on that first bend. There's just 2 sections on the 2 bends where you can actually buy a ticket to stand, and that's still the most popular place. There they are. And then it's all seated behind and around the rest of the stadium. And the people outside, the scalpers, are still selling tickets. And there are queues of people trying to buy them. So Bakumova in the third round. That one looks as though it's stalling. It is indeed. Yeah, it's really hard. There's not a breath of wind out there. We've had a slight headwind in the sprints. I mean, you're talking about 0.2 meters per second, but there's absolutely nothing. It's dead air that they're throwing into. And that one just stalling and tailing down. So no improvement for her. She'll remain in third place.
Well, the next event on the track is the men's 200 metres. We're at the halfway stage in that women's javelin. Plenty more to come. It's not the best of series so far for Bakumova. Now, Christina Obergvoll. Let's tidy up the situation for you. 64.98 in round 2 is her lead. Barbara Spatakova, by the way, only 61.43 so far. She's got to have her third round throw yet. Obergvoll here, 64.33 and 64.98. She knew the moment it was let go, the rhythm was all gone. Didn't get the timing right at all on that. It just looked untidy, didn't it? She almost fell over on her face there. She knew immediately. Just under 60 mid, she fouls it, of course, but stays in the lead by almost 2 meters from Linda Stahl, her compatriot.
Well, it's taking place down on the first bend, and then over on the far side, the men already out on the track for the men's 200 meters. Schneeberger of Switzerland on the inside, Saidi Ndure of Norway in 2, Mullings, Jamaica in 3, Martina from the Dutch Antilles in 4, Bailey, USA in 5, Blake, Jamaica in 6, Spearman, USA in 7, and the X-Man, Xavier Carter of the USA on the outside. So this is Mark Schneeberger running their relay team. They actually adorn the programme. They're so proud of the fact they finished 4th in the European Championships, and I think I was trying to say earlier on, they had a few close calls. They couldn't quite spit it out, that's what I meant. Schneeberger on the inside, 20.61 this year. Well, Saidi Ndure went off to Barcelona with very high hopes in both the 100 and the 200. He could only finish 6th and 5th respectively. 5th in his better event. And a bit better in London the other day. Steve Mullings, haven't seen too much of him on the circuit this year. A Jamaican who has served a pretty serious drugs ban. It's pretty strict rules about performances in the Diamond League. Chirandi Martina of the Dutch Antilles, 20.08 this year, new personal best, and starting to come into some really good form. Ryan Bailey was 4th in London, again another man making advances in 2010, 20.7. And Johan Blake, well, he really does fall into that category, doesn't he? 19.78, first time under 20 seconds, smashed his personal best in Monaco, had another good run in the 100, with another personal best in the shorter sprint distance last week. Wallace Spearman, well, he's the man in the box seat, as they say. He's leading the points race because no Walter Dix here. Dix, well, he pretty much just had to turn up here, but he has a torn hamstring, not able to compete. He's leading this diamond race in the 200. Well, he had an unassailable lead, but now Spearman, with, he's only got 5 points, but Blake, Martina, even Carter could win this tonight. 8 points up for grabs for the win. As I said earlier, 4 and 2 for second and third. And if the results went his way, he could walk off with a diamond trophy. I think 2 or 3 others might have to fall. And nonetheless, every prospect of a good race here. I think it's Blake that everyone's looking forward to watching here in lane 6. And Spearman is the man with the points in the bag, as it were. Blake's the exciting sprinter of the moment, just 20 years of age. Ryan Bailey inside him as well in 5. And then Martina in 4. So Spearman is very much there to be shot at in lane 7. Oh, Blake got a terrible start in lane 6. Spearman gets away well, and inside Blake, Ryan Bailey's had a cracking bend as well. And also Steve Mullings of Jamaica in lane 3. And as they come round the bend now, Blake's starting to come back into it in 6, and Spearman's got a lot of work to do because it's Blake and Bailey. But here comes Spearman, and Spearman's flying through. Will he get there? Spearman wins it on the line ahead of Blake, 19.79. Stunning performance from Spearman in the home straight. He was absolutely nowhere. New meeting record. Of course, not the quickest in the world this year. That belongs to you-know-who, who's not here anymore, Usain Bolt. But that is a season's best and one of the best runs we've seen from Spearman for a long time. He was pushed all the way by Blake. He gets better and better. Consistency coming into his performances as well, but that was pretty special from Wallace Spearman, 19.79.
Well, wasn't that fascinating? A race of so many different acts, if you like. As you said, Blake didn't get a great start there in yellow. Spearman much better, and he's not a great starter, Spearman. He's a 200-metre specialist. For example, last week in London, Spearman was only 7th in the 100 and then won the 200 metres the next day. But Blake here, you think with 17 to go, has got it. And then Spearman thinks, no, you don't, son. This is my territory. There he is nearer the camera. Taller figure. Glides through. Works hard for it, mind you. Both of them have run very quick there. 1979 for Spearman. That's a massive new season's best. And a meeting record to boot. That's quite something yet again in Letziger. And Steve, with the most marginal of following wins, that really is a pretty special run.
Yeah, Spearman is one of those guys who's always had the ability, always had the talent. He's picked up medals, of course, at the World Championships. And, well, he's in a tough event, isn't he, with Bolt and Gay. But he's definitely best of the rest. And that proved it there tonight. And he wasn't going to let those youngsters, Blake and Bailey, get ahead of him. Personal best for Bailey in 3rd, 20.1. Blake continues to look very, very good indeed, 19.86. But the winner, 19.79. New meeting record here in Zurich for Spearman.
Well, back to this high jump, which is on the big D at one end of the track here nearest us, just past the finish line. Really is a lovely intimate feel to this Swiss stadium. It's like those up in Scandinavia where the crowd can almost reach out and touch the athletes. Here's Ivan Ukov. The bar at 2 metres 35, can you believe? He's got the competition won. That first time clearance at 2:29 was the winner. Nobody else cleared that height, can you believe? He's passed the 2 previous heights. 2:35 for Ukov, no. Well, that wasn't that close either, actually. Tipped it off early on. Last week, I think it was 2:29 was adequate to win in London in the damp. He did jump well there. 2 attempts to come, but it's looking unlikely, I have to say.
Fiafanova in the pole vault. That's her second attempt there at 481. Fabiana Mura has already gone clear, and because she'd had one failure at 476, that's it for the Russian. And that means that Mura, who's had first time clearances all the way through, is in superb form, the Brazilian, and will be the winner here tonight, and indeed of the Diamond League in this discipline. Fiafanova looked good early on. I was watching her. She had a very tidy clearance at 471 first time, but after a failure at 476, she knew that she was in second place, and she had to then move up to 481. You can see there, and then 2 failures. And that means tonight she has to give way to Fabiana Mura, who I'm sure we're going to see. In fact, I think she's putting it up to 490. We'll see that shortly.
The women's 400 metres is the next event on the track. Alison Phoenix goes in lane 4. Only 1 loss this year from 21 starts. That was to Veronica Campbell-Brown in New York.
Spatakova really trying to resurrect something here. That's a bit better. That's going to get closer to the lead. She's really been struggling so far this evening. Another smile on her face. And she's been so consistent. Obergfold leading with 64.98 in the second round. That looks a lot closer, but I don't think it's going to be good. Well, you can see the lead line there. It certainly hasn't reached that. So we'll move her up, though. 63.32. That moves on to second place. That's more like it.
Well, we can go back to this women's 400 metres in lane 1. Libiana Grenot, formerly of Cuba, for Italy now. 4th in those European Championships. Ran a 49.6 relay, by the way, there. Sherika Williams, the Olympic silver medalist from 2 years ago, has 5 points in the Diamond League standings. Only 5th in London, though, Jamaican. Debbie Dunn has 6 points. She's the fastest in the world this year, the American. She goes in lane 3. World indoor champion from Doha back in March, the former Jamaican. And, of course, the American champion to boot this year. Alison Felix, though, has to start as favourite, even though this year on the world rankings she's at some way down. She has 12 points. She needs second or better tonight to take the Diamond League title in this event. As I said, only one loss from 21 races, and that loss at 200 metres was to Veronica Campbell-Brown in her first 200 of the year, some 8 or 10 weeks ago in New York. Took a double in London, remember, last week, over 200 and 400, Felix. In lane 5, the European champion, the big, powerful Tatiana Firova of Russia. She has 6 points, one of a brace of athletes on 6 points in the Diamond League standings. Only 3rd in the Russian Championships, and yet became European champion. Still in good form, 2nd in London, and she had a great race with Felix in London, actually, Firova. Amantli Monsho of Botswana goes in lane 6. She has 8 points in the Diamond League. The African champion recently, but has looked a little bit tired, I have to say. 5th in Stockholm, 4th in London in recent races. Sania Ustalova, the Russian champion, took the silver medal behind Firova in Barcelona. Has had very, very few competitions this year. She should be fresh. And then completing the lineup on the outside there, Noveline Williams-Mills goes in lane 8. The 4th placer last year at the World Championships. She too has looked just a little bit tired, the Jamaican, in recent races. 6th in Stockholm and 6th again in London in the last fortnight. But Alison Felix, well, under the tutelage of coach Bobby Kersey, she has become a formidable opponent. Hasn't broken 50 seconds this year, but it's her competitive pedigree that is so strong. Last week it really was tested against Firova in Crystal Palace, where they had a real ding-dong down the home straight over 400 metres. Felix came out on top, and don't be deceived by her lithe build. She's tremendously powerful. Only 3 athletes under 50 seconds this year. Can Felix join them? Top 6 in the world are in this race tonight. Felix is only ranked number 8 in the world. Dunn is in 3, Felix in 4, the European champion Firova in lane 5. Well, good start from Felix there. Grabbed a metre out of Firova straight away there. As they head round the bend, you can see Felix is almost up on the Russian. Goodness me. In fact, it's Firova who's gone off very slowly, because outside the Russian Monsho in lane 6 is well away too there, 3rd to left. But now Firova's getting into a running. Felix settling down. Dunn has gone up pretty quickly too. Look there, central picture. She catches up on Felix here, the halfway stage. And hard to say who's in lead. Possibly Monsho there to left of picture in the red top and blue shorts. Firova's beginning to fade a little bit here as Monsho continues on her way to the left of picture. But on the inside there, look at Sherika Williams in 2, Debbie Dunn in 3, Alison Felix in lane 4 in the all black. Now has Felix got the beating of them here in this last 50. She urges herself on, gets the metre. Dunn trying to battle against her. Monsho putting up a good battle here, but it's Felix, Dunn, Monsho, 1, 2, 3, 50.39. The sub 50 second territory remains elusive once again, but it matters not a jot. Well, Alison Felix becomes Diamond League champion over 400 metres, and she just keeps winning. She doesn't seem to worry about the clock. She's not racing and chasing time. She's racing athletes around her, and she's had another tough one there, Steve, but didn't she do it well?
We'll talk about her in a second. This is Zukov with a second attempt. Ooh, that was better, wasn't it? Not far away, 2:35. He's entertaining the crowd royally, excuse me, on that bottom bend. So 2 failures, already got the competition won, of course. But yeah, you know, I'm watching Felix, and you're waiting for her to just sort of blow through that 50-second mark. And she's been great at 200 metres this year, but she's run quite a lot of 400s, and hasn't yet looked as though she's kind of cruising around there and can just blow this sort of field apart. It was rather workmanlike, I thought, from quite a few of them, and maybe the first 200, I think 3 or 4 of them went way too hard, and Felix was coming back at them in the home straight. But then from this point you think, okay, go away, move on, kind of get 5 meters, 6 meters, 7 meters ahead. And it's still having to work hard. Maybe she's just doing enough though. And well, it was a little bit of a war of attrition there. She still looks so smooth though, doesn't she? Holds the form well. You can see her looking at the clock. She's probably thinking it's a bit quicker than it actually is. I think we'd all probably agree with her, but the times will come. She has a big future at this event when she really turns all of her attention to it, but as far as she's concerned, she wants to do the 2 and the 4, and she thinks she can manage them both together. And who would argue with that? So she is the diamond race winner, and is still, well, as you can see there, incredibly popular on the circuit as well. And she's the only one left standing.
It's like the end of a decathlon. Alison Felix on top again, 50.37 by a couple of strides from Debbie Dunn, her compatriot, 50.57. Monchot, 50.63 for Botswana in third. So Ivan Ukov then, 2:35, 2 failures. The second one was very close indeed. Oh no, the best of them was in the middle. That third attempt not so good either, possibly the worst of the 3. But he has taken the event tonight, and indeed with Linus Tornblatt absent, who had 9 points, only Ukov on 12, and Williams could win tonight, and Ukov gathering his 8 points to add to his 12 will win with 20 points here in the overall Diamond League standings, and it's well deserved from the Russian. Funnily enough, he was only third in the Russian Championships, but when you think they have Rybakov and then Shustov, the European champion as well, you can be third best in the world in Russia and still only be their number 3. Chance to look at the long jump now. There you can see the former European champion Andrew Howe, only 5th in Barcelona, 7.88 in round 3 for the Italian. Chris Tomlinson, well, delightful bronze medal for him in Barcelona. Chris Tomlinson, 7.97 in the second round. By the way, we're just bring you up to speed with these off tape. We're almost at the end of round 3. And Dwight Phillips, well, his opening effort, 8 meters 20, put him way out in front, and he still is. He's the only athlete that's broken 8 meters at the moment. Tomlinson second with that 7.97. Dwight Phillips yet to take his third round effort. That was a little while ago.
Athletes out on the track for the women's 1500 metres, and this should be a real cracker here. Just pick out some of the names there for you. Well, it's already gone. Interestingly, Janet Jepkoskai, former world champion at 800 metres in this one. And then, of course, some of the big names there, Lisa Dobrisky, Galita Burka. I'll just go down the line. Aragawi, the very good young Ethiopian, new name this year, just 20 years of age, 4.1.9. Steph 12 from Great Britain. Usaini, USA. And Kakir, who ran well in the European Championships, 5th there. There's Janet Jepkoskai. Not often we get the chance to see her over 1500 metres. Shannon Robury, world bronze medalist at this distance. And we've got Jeligat, former world junior champion. Kristen Worth Thomas, another one under 4 minutes this year, as is Lisa Dobrisky and Galita Burka. There, the favourites. And you can see the diamond against her name. Alminova's just waving to the crowd, the Russian next to her, but it's Langat who leads the diamond race. The Olympic champion's been in superb form, particularly in the second half of the season. So our 2 pacemakers on the outside, Belletta and Cummins, have got to, I think, been asked to go very quick indeed. They've asked to be running 63-second laps, which will bring us in, if they maintain that, around 3:55, 3:56, something like that. So 3 3/4 laps of the track as ever, and it's a pretty bunched field, but the pacemakers should try and sort them out fairly quickly. And if the pace is good, they don't go crazy on the first lap, and it looks like a very swift first 100 metres, and they settle down, then we could be in for something really quick. This is a very typical Zurich middle distance evening, and every prospect of some fast times here. So Cummins has been asked, as I said, to run about 63 seconds for this first 400 metres, and she's pretty experienced. There's Alminova, who looked so good in Paris before she headed off to Barcelona, and then was so disappointing in the European Championships, the Russian. And Langat is tucked in behind her, knows that perhaps when the pacemakers drop out, it will be the Russian who picks things up and carries the pace on, so she's positioned herself very well in 4th place just behind her.
Well, Steve, they're supposed to be looking for 3:09 at 1200 metres tonight. Very fast pace indeed, well below 4 minutes. And Langat, we understand, is desperately keen to break 4 minutes tonight, having missed it so many times despite that series of wins. 61.32 though, probably a little bit overcooking it.
Well, that's what I was just saying. You know, if Cummins is an experienced runner, and you should be able to go and run a 63-second first lap. And if anything, you want to err on the side of being slightly slow, not slightly fast. So hopefully things will settle down. The good thing is everybody's in for this. They're all there, following the pace. Alminova might not even give Belletta the chance to take the pace on once Cummins drops out. The Russian will be trying to keep this fast pace going. Langat is there. Thomas is close by, and a Pierce as well. Shannon Roadbury a little further back in the field, as is Lisa Dobrisky, just maybe sitting off the pace. And Janet Jepkoskai just starting to move through a little bit as well. So they're all still very much in contact in this fast pace, but I think the second lap is a lot slower, and that's the danger, and that when the Cummins steps off, that nobody really wants to pick this up. They were asked to go through 800 in 2.6, and they're going to be a couple of seconds outside that.
Well, Steve, I timed the 400 metres to 700. It was 66.3. Look at that, 66.46. That's not good pacemaking, I'm afraid. 61 seconds, 66 seconds. Dreadful.
And so she drops out. Belletta does exactly what the second pacemaker shouldn't do then, kick on. You've got to kind of smoothly accelerate away if you can. And she's kicked on. Alminova's not having any of it. She's thinking, right, as she did in London, I'm not going to be your pacemaker here, and off Belletta goes, so we might as well just concentrate on what's happening behind, because they've all slowed down. There's Alminova, Langat, Husseini, Worth Thomas on the inside, just watching what's coming out on her shoulder. Janet Jepkoskai starting to take closer order, but they're all bunching as they approach the bell.
Well, Langat now moving to the front, and she's obviously hungry for it as they go through the bell. The time there, 2:58, almost exactly. They need a 62 to break 4 minutes here. Still a big pack there, considering they're moving well. But how they accelerate through this last 300 is very important. If they go hard from now, there's a chance of doing it. If they watch each other too much, then they won't. And Langat's not really kicking hard at the moment. 3:10 there at 1,200 metres. So they're, what, about a second and a half outside what they wanted?
So Langat at the front, Jalagat sitting right behind her. Husseini is right there as well, as they're having to go past Belletta, and that's really not exactly what the doctor ordered. Lisa Dobrisky trying to get involved, as is Berger, but away and gone. The Olympic champion kicks away, and there's a faller. Was that Husseini? It takes 3 or 4 go down with her. It might have been Belletta, I think, who caused that problem. The sole pacemaker was still running, shouldn't have been there. So Langat's going to win this one fairly comfortably in the end. Steph 12 trying to get ahead of Berger for 2nd and 3rd place, but they're a good 5 metres back. Lisa Dobrisky was involved in that melee as well. So Langat wins it with time outside 4 minutes, then Berger, then 12, then Dobrisky. Well, what a mess that was. Not for Langat, no problems for her. The pacemaking was all over the place. Didn't mind her, it doesn't matter. She'll be disappointed she didn't get a fast time. But Husseini there in the, I'll call it pink strip there, took down her teammate Pierce, and 1 or 2 others went down on that top bend timber. I suspect it was Belletta, the pacemaker, who was still running in the inside lane, and everybody was trying to get past her. Caused a right melee there.
Well, she actually pulled out with about 180 to go, but for about 100 metres they were pouring past her as she was slowing down, and you could have created more of an obstacle and created more chaos if you had tried. Here she is, look. Now she's been passed here, she's done her job. Step off the track. No, they have to go round her, and of course the athletes don't expect this. They don't expect to have that obstacle 2 feet wide on the inside lane. That's what it causes, just a little bit of bad positioning for a variety of athletes in the pack. Oh my word. Heavy falls too.
Well, initially it was Jalagat who caught Husseini, and with apologies to Belletta, as Tim said, they had got past her. And she survived the first clipping of her heels, and then it was Lisa Dobrisky who was boxed in a terrible position with 150 to go, was trying to get out herself, and I think she then clipped Husseini, who then went down rather heavily, as you said, and took 2 or 3 others with her. But all that was happening behind her winner, Langat, who serenely marched on down the home straight. Oh, what a messy race that was, real disappointment.
Wasn't it awful? It does confirm Nancy Langus Diamond League champion. Burke second, Steph Twell. A personal best at 4.2.54 for the Briton. But wouldn't call it a comedy of errors, but with 61 and 66 from the first pacemaker, and then the second pacemaker not stepping off the track and getting out of the way as she should have done. That was disappointing.
And disappointing for Fabrice Lapierre as well. You're going to believe this. He's had 4 no jumps. And Lapierre, well, he was the one man who perhaps could have snatched the Diamond Trophy away from Dwight Phillips, who is the leader. 16 points at the minute, but Lapierre himself has 11 points. But what is going on out there for him? He has to get a legal jump in, and he won't take any further. Well, that's 3 no jumps. I can tell you he's actually had 4.
Well, a chance to see the men's high jumpers, so many of that men's high jump competition. And in third place, Alexander Shustov cleared 2.26 first time. That was followed with 3 failures at 2.29. So on this occasion, the European champion, the man who took the European Team Championship title earlier on in the summer, unable to make any further impression on the leading pair. He was only 4th in London last week, 3rd here tonight, but frankly, at the end of your career, people look at your medals, they look at the championships, and he has his gold from Barcelona. Jesse Williams was 2nd in London last week, Ukov, 2nd here again tonight. That for Williams was the first time clearance at 2.26, and he had a perfect card up to and including that height. It's a little disappointing that neither he nor Shustov could go beyond this, enjoying himself while he's on top. But Jesse Williams finishing in 2nd place with that card. And then Ukov, as we've already seen, comfortable victor by a height with this at 2.29 first attempt. He was well over that too. A lot of daylight between the Russian, the European silver medalist, and the bar. He loves it too. He really wears his heart in his sleeves. He's a great character. Passed the next couple of heights and then attempted twice at 2.35, which would have been a world best for this year. Would have improved his own world best, in fact, of 2.34. That was achieved in Monaco, about a month ago. But it was beyond him. The victory wasn't. 2.29 was good enough for maximum points and the Samtum Diamond League title for the Russian. A confirmation of it there. Ukov, Williams and Shustov, 1, 2, 3. A group of men on 2.26 there.
One or 2 disappointing performances further down. Martin Bernard just only cleared 2.20 this evening. Women's javelin still underway. And that's in the final round. We've got the men's 110 hurdles coming up in what could be one of the highlights. Given how fast we've seen some of the sprinting tonight, can David Oliver go close to the world record? There's the lineup: Sharman of Great Britain, Darien of France, Thomas Jamaica, Turner Great Britain, Oliver USA, Wilson USA, Brown USA, Svoboda Czech Republic, and Richardson of the USA. Well, Will Sharman had some sort of redemption after being disqualified at the European Championships. He ran the season's best in London, 13:39 of course. Garfield Darien, silver medal in Barcelona. That took 1 or 2 people by surprise. And again, another good performance in London in the Diamond League. Just 22 years of age. Dwight Thomas next to him, former flat sprinter, and now the Jamaican record holder at 110 hurdles. Well, Andy Turner is the European champion, and nothing else will matter this. And that's in the final round. We've got the men's 110 hurdles coming up in what could be one of the highlights. Given how fast we've seen some of the sprinting tonight, can David Oliver go close to the world record? There's the lineup: Sharman of Great Britain, Darien of France, Thomas Jamaica, Turner Great Britain, Oliver USA, Wilson USA, Brown USA, Svoboda Czech Republic, and Richardson of the USA. Well, Will Sharman had some sort of redemption after being disqualified at the European Championships. He ran the season's best in London, 13:39 of course. Garfield Darien, silver medal in Barcelona. That took one or two people by surprise. And again, another good performance in London in the Diamond League. Just 22 years of age. Dwight Thomas next to him. Former flat sprinter, and now the Jamaican record holder at 110 hurdles. Well, Andy Turner is the European champion, and nothing else will matter this year when he looks back on 2010. Finally taking a gold medal, and he took it in fine style as well. But he finds himself alongside this man, David Oliver, the American record holder, fastest in the world this year, 12.89, oh so close to the world record in Paris. Well, let's hope that's a prediction. Ryan Wilson in lane 6. 13:12 this year. Second in the American Championships. And he's had a couple of seconds in the Diamond League this year as well, Monaco and Paris. Joel Brown, 30-year-old in lane 7. Disappointing European Championships for Petr Svoboda of the Czech Republic. Well, I'm sure in his country he went in there as the favourite to win. And he certainly was in a good position. He hit the 7th hurdle badly, finished 6th in the final. And then Jason Richardson in the 9th lane. 9 lanes, don't forget, in the sprint events here. But all eyes will be on David Oliver. No doubt about who's won the diamond race. He can't be caught at all. He's had 5 wins, 20 points. And Turner and the others in this race will have to just focus on what they have to do and maybe trying to hang on to his coattails. The world record is 12.87. The wind in the stadium has been, well, almost non-existent. Sub 13, it says on his spikes. Well, he's past that barrier. Oliver's in 5, Turner's in 4. Oliver gets a pretty good start. Andy Turner got out well alongside him as well, but the American is already leading this. David Oliver starting to go away from the field, hits that hurdle. He's got clear air between him and the others now. It's all about David Oliver. He reaches for the line, and it's 13:24. Which I'm looking at Tim, and Tim's looking at me, and we both got puzzled looks on our face. Oliver took a tumble. Now, if that's 13:24, how slow was everybody else? Because it looked quicker than that.
Well, the gap flattered, didn't it? Goodness me.
Did he dip underneath? I think he did, Tim. It's come up 12:93 on the computer. So the clock in the stadium, you can't dip under the electronic timing anymore. I'm not sure what happened. And I think our instincts were absolutely right. 12:93, another superb performance from David Oliver. No world record. A little bit of a following wind might have helped him. He was into a very slight breeze tonight. Minus 0.3 into his face. And everybody, when they all crossed the line and looked at the clock, you could see they all were stunned by the time. This is the javelin, Obergfall.
It is indeed Obergfall, yes. The 6th and final round for the German. She's got the competition won, and that's not special either. The big throw came in the 4th round, 67.31. Spatakova with her final effort, 65.34. She wins by almost exactly 2 metres. Does Kristina Obergfall, the European Championship silver medalist. Remember Spatakova, the world record holder, the Czech, could do no better than 3rd in Barcelona at the Europeans. So it's maximum points for Obergfall here tonight. Spatakova, though, should have clinched the Diamond League title with that. There's David Oliver. He hits about hurdle 4, hurdle 5 pretty hard. I don't think he did get that good a start, actually, Steve. I must admit, I was watching it and I thought that Ryan Wilson beside him got away faster. He lost a little bit at the start there, maybe a hundredth or two, maybe a little bit more. There was no way he wasn't going to win it. But the gap grew markedly through the second half once he'd caught up with them. Let's have a look. He's a big fella, former American football player. He has to go low to get under the timing camera, I have to tell you. The beam. Well, he does. In fact, goes down. Wow, that's got to hurt. Although it was a pretty impressive slowing with the arms. He's in one piece. He's smiling. 12.93 yet again. I'm trying to think of the last time that a hurdler put together a series of 12.9 performances with such consistency, Steve. I know he's had a couple outside 13 seconds, but they've been in wet, damp conditions on a couple of occasions. Oliver this season has been going 12.9, 12.9, 12.9, 12.9. He's been phenomenal. And that world record was not only wanted by him tonight, but I think by a lot of pundits in the sport because they feel he deserves it.
Well, the winning time, 12.93, and I'm going to wind the clock back, Tim. I can remember being in the stadium when Nehemiah broke the world record here in 1981, and he ran 12.93 on that occasion. Superb performance from Oliver. Thomas was second, and Ryan Wilson won the nod for third place. He's got to get the record, hasn't he? I mean, he's so big and strong and powerful. A little bit of a following wind would certainly help him. He's got the Diamond Trophy tonight, no doubt about that, but he'll have to wait another day for that record. Well, he's following the signs there. David Oliver, stop here for autographs, please. Crowd have been great here again this evening. There's such a knowledgeable crowd here, of course, and this meeting every year never fails to inspire and produce the big performances. And will we get one in the 5,000?
Well, who knows? It's going to be quick. That's pretty certain. We do have pacemakers in this 5,000 metres, and we have a top field. If I tell you that 10 men in this field have broken 13 minutes, and only 14 men have broken 13 minutes this year. Chris Zielinski, the big new find for the USA. Watch him. Can he get that US record of Bernard Lagat? Chris Thompson had a bit of breakfast with Chris. He's very, very happy after his performances at the European Championships and still setting personal best 3,000 in Gateshead recently. Galen Rupp, well, fell over in Stockholm when he'd run about 11.5 or 12 laps of a great race. Mo Farah, desperately keen to break 13 minutes as Mo. He ran 13.05 was it in Gateshead 6 weeks or so back, and he wasn't 100% then. We know he is now, certainly was a couple of weeks ago in Barcelona with that fabulous double at 5,000 and 10,000 metres. But it's a big field this, 19 starters, amongst them Bekele, not Kenenisa Bekele, the world record holder, his younger brother, Tariku Bekele, former world junior champion. Chepkot is in there, the winner at Gateshead. There is Chris Zielinski, 12.55 in Stockholm for a new personal best. That was after that 26.59, the first non-African to break 27 minutes for 10,000 way back in early summer. Kipchoge, Eliud Kipchoge, the world number one this year. Murga, the Diamond League leader, on 12 points to Kipchoge's 6 points. Everything to run for here. Bergen and Daniel Kipchirchir-Komen are the pacemakers. Don't adjust your set. Daniel Kipchirchir-Komen, the top 1,500 metre runner in the world 2 or 3 years ago, is the pacemaker here tonight. They really do want a quality job done. He will take over from Bergen, who will lead through the first 2,000 metres, Will Komen. Well, to break 13 minutes, they've got to run around 62.5 seconds per lap. That will be well within their compass. Away they go. Big field, good pacemakers, glorious conditions. Hardly a breath of wind in the Letzigrund this evening. It's all set up wonderfully for this penultimate track event of the evening, just a 4x100 metres relay to come. And the crowd here in Zurich, as we've said a couple of times tonight, so knowledgeable, love their distance running. We thought it rather bizarre, Steve and I, earlier on this evening, that there was no 800 or 1,500 metres for men here tonight, but there's a glut of middle and long distance races next week in Brussels. And already it's quick. Chris Thompson right at the back, and might he well be, because single file after 200 metres. Zielinski there in about 7th place in that green strip, easy to pick out. possibly one or two too many of those purple vests when they're trying to identify athletes, but I'm sure they'll spread out if this tempo stays fast. We're looking for kilometres here of around 2. Cook is one of those 10 men in this race who have broken 13 minutes. 12:51 this year Chepcock has run. And Bethwell Bergen, well, he's a 7:39 man this year at 3,000 metres. He's hoping to go to around 2,000 in 5:07. Right in behind him is Daniel Kipchirchir-Komen in that rocking style of his. Look at them, stride for stride, matching each other. Kipchoge there, one of the fastest men in history with 12:46. Indeed, the fourth fastest man in history. Goes through 600 metres in almost exactly 90 seconds.
Yeah, there was a fair bit of discussion in the hotel this afternoon from athletes and managers about the pace and whether it would be sustained and maintained beyond the 3,000 metre mark. And of course then you're taking the gamble of going with the pace in case it is maintained, or whether you sit off the pace and hope that they slow down and come back to you and you haven't gone so hard over the first 3 or 4 laps. So I think that's one reason why we're seeing everybody stretched out here. That is quick through the first couple of laps, as was asked, as we just go to Chris Tomlinson in the long jump. Lying in third place at the moment, 7:97 from his second round. Is that going to be further? I doubt it. Doesn't look as though he's got to 8 metres. The lead's still held by Phillips. Again, what's been a rather disappointing performance. The field events really haven't come alive this evening. 8:20 for Phillips, 8:11 the European champion Christian Rief, and then Tomlinson still hanging on to third place with no improvement there. 7:85. He's on the front of our new phone book in the northeast of England, Chris Tomlinson, at the minute. Yes, I asked him how that came about. I'm not sure he knows. Dwight Phillips in this 5th round then with the lead, as I said, at 8:20. He hasn't had a legal jump since then. He's passed on 2 rounds, and that's over 8, but it's not going to extend the lead. He's enjoying himself though, isn't he, Dwight Phillips? He's got the diamond race for the long jump wrapped up already. Can relax this evening, and you'd think that those athletes who are in that position might have been able to produce something a little bit special under no pressure whatsoever, but hasn't quite been the case. But with 1 round to go, well, it's still there to be shot at. That lead of 8:20 is still within the reach of many of the men in this competition. So 8:4 for Phillips in the 5th round. Well, this is a replay from a few moments ago. I said that the new European champion, Christian Rief, finally got going this evening, 8:11. I think for a while he thought he'd maybe taken the lead. It's good enough for second place though.
Well, back to this 5,000 metres. They went through 1 kilometre in 2:32.1, very fast indeed. But that was followed by a lap of about 63 seconds. They're coming round into the straight now, not too far away from 2 kilometres, but there's been a fair bit of shifting. Chris Zielinski's dropped back to about 12th place. Bergen it is who leads from Komen. Kipchoge still in third as they go through there. A 61.8, that's a little bit more like it. Bekele, the younger Bekele, is in 4th place. Then it's Yator and Chepcock, followed by Soy. The Kenyans very much to the fore, as you'd expect. The 2 green vests there are Zielinski and Galen Rupp of the USA, and right at the back is Chris Thompson, who's just beginning to drop off now. He's still moving at a fabulous tempo, I'm sure personal best tempo, but he's beginning to drop away. It's about 5 metres down at the back of this field as Chris Thompson. It's going to be very tough next few laps. There's that second kilometre, 5:06.9 at 2:34. So they've got to make sure this next kilometre is on schedule. 2:34 is too slow. We need about 2:32, 2:33 for sub 13 minutes.
I think it's interesting, Tim, when you look at some of the athletes further back, the likes of Chris Zielinski and Galen Rupp of the USA, and Mo Farah, who's trying to get under 30 minutes. You know, you're trying to get under 30 minutes, and you really have to work out whether you try and pick it up in the last kilometre, stay in contact, and that's the problem with Chris Thompson now. You can see there He's about 20 metres adrift. As we just bring you up to date with what happened in the javelin. We said earlier on, we saw Obert Fall had won it, and in second place, of course, Spatakova Stahl ended up taking third place. That's the first time we'd really seen her this evening. The fourth round, 63-30. This was the throw that Spatakova thought for a moment might have just got close to the lead, but over 65 metres, but not tonight. It took her a while to get going. First 2-3 rounds really wasn't in the competition. And it was Obergfell of Germany with a big throw in the fourth round, and she knew when she'd hit it right out there, up 67 metres 31, a new meeting record for the women's javelin. We had 4 really good throws from the German, totally dominant this evening. Well, she picked up the 8 points for tonight, but it will be Spatakova who will take the diamond trophy home. I don't think that's going to disappoint Obergfell too much, though. Great win here tonight. 67-31. There's confirmation of all of that. And some disappointing performances. Cara Patterson of the USA, who still had a chance of winning it this evening, could only finish in 9th with 59.50. So Spatakova will be picking up the trophy later on.
Well, you can see at the foreground the 5,000 metre runners. They've just gone through 3,000 in 7:44, and it has slowed a good deal. The bunching is a clear indication that they've slowed a little bit in the middle of this race. And Bishi leading from Kipchoge. Bekele in third place there. Zielinski is still up there in the top 9 or 10. They are beginning to peel away though. Chris Thompson about 50 metres off the back of the field, moving at about 13:20 pace. Tough for him this. Galen Rupp struggling too in that little second group, that trio behind the leading pack, which is what, 10 strong. But nobody really seems prepared to commit themselves in the middle of the race. In the majority of 5,000s these days, they come into the straight. Mbishi, Kipchoge, Bekele, Yator. Then the Diamond League leader, Merga, Chepkok beside him, Soy behind him, Chris Zielinski towering over these Kenyans and Ethiopians in 9th place and going with this group. Now Zielinski, when he ran that fabulous 10,000 metres at the beginning of the summer at Stanford back in May in California, ran his last 800 metres in an astonishing 1 minute 56 seconds. I've mentioned it one or twice this summer. We haven't really seen that sort of finishing speed since on the European circuit, but if tonight's the night, well, then he might surprise one or two of these lads in front of him, because by their standards they're cruising slightly through this middle section. That middle kilometre, Steve, about 2:40. That's a 13:20 pace.
And it's interesting, you can see just behind that leading group as they start to bunch, Mo Farah is getting back onto that group, and he got caught out a little bit. He was following the other American, Galen Rupp, and was in that kind of second group, and he's worked really hard to get back to the leaders, and he's just getting on the back of that group because they have slowed down at the front, which gives him a chance to get back involved in the race. Another athlete trying to get under 13 minutes here this evening. But every lap that's going by now, that target starts to slip, and they're gathering themselves for the big finish. And of course, for the likes of Farah, having got onto the back of that group, just as he gets there and tries to relax for a lap, it won't be long before they're away.
Well, that lap 64.2, it was very slow. Look at the bunching there. 3 abreast across the track, gathering themselves now with just over 1,000 to run. It was, they may well go under 13 minutes tonight if the last lap's a tasty one, but Mo Farah, if he can just settle in there and gather himself for this final kilometre, because that's what they've got. This is 4K coming up now. There it is, 10:24, 2:39. Again, it's slow. Frankly, that's about 13:20 pace, nothing more. But if Mo can position himself well here and go with the surge, if there is one, over this next couple of laps, well, we've seen how quickly the European champion can finish. at 5,000 and 10,000. Remember, in that 5,000 in Barcelona, 55 seconds his last lap. His last 4 laps were pretty much spot on 4 minutes. So he's a world-class finisher, Mo, but can he do it off what has been a moderately fast pace to date?
Well, Tim, anything around 2 minutes for the last 800 would do it for all of this group. They went through in about 11:57, 58. And if they want to get under 13 minutes, they can't let this penultimate lap be too slow, particularly for the likes of Farah. He's had to work so hard to get onto that group. He's not going to push things on, but look at Chris Zielinski. You can see he's itching to go. Bekele moved himself out about 200 meters ago because he wanted to get closer to the front, so he starts to wind it up. But this isn't the big kick yet. That's yet to come. They're just starting to move things along a little bit and stretching this leading group out again.
So 550 metres to run on the penultimate lap here. Bekele, well positioned. He might as well be at the front, make the others work hard. They've got to run the extra metre to get past you. Chepkok in second place. Merger, the Diamond League leader, in third place in that all-black strip. Zielinski, can he shock the Africans here? Wouldn't that be a fabulous run from him? 400 metres to run then in this 5,000 metres. And Bekele, whose brother would destroy a field even of this calibre in this situation, he's out for the rest of the season, has missed most of the season in fact. Mo Farah in 6th place at the moment, just slightly isolated, trying to go with this quintet in front of him. 300 metres to run. And Bekele driving on hard there. Beautiful mover, biomechanically perfect, they describe his brother as, and he's not much different himself. Merger in second place, Zielinski there. 200 metres to run, the American on the shoulder of Merger. Bekele's got 4 or 5 metres on them though. I get the impression Zielinski's got another gear just yet. Bekele out in front is flat out. So is Merger. Chepkok back in the 4th place. But Chris Zielinski off the bend. When was the last time you saw a non-African challenging for a place in the top 3 in Zurich? Down the home straight, it's going to be a win for Bekele. Mo Farah in 5th place. The win there for Bekele. 12:55. 2nd is Merger. 3rd is Zielinski. Mo Farah well unbroken 13 minutes. Fabulous run, and that unofficially a new British record for Mo Farah. What a wonderful way to crown a fantastic summer for him and his coaching setup. In particular, Alan Story has worked so hard with Mo for several years, and all of UK Athletics the backup for him. Another European dips under 13 minutes. No doubting the winner. Great run that from Bekele, the younger of the Bekele brothers, Tariku on this occasion. He wins it. The Diamond League winner unofficially is Imani Merger with 12 points. He too going under 13 minutes.
Well, just break off for a second. That certainly was a great race, lots of fast times. A new British record for Mo Farah. That'll be confirmed in just a second or so. Culmination of the long jump in second place at the moment. That's a little bit better, that's close now. He can't see those markers in the sand that we can see, so he thinks he might have sneaked this one here. Phillips, of course, has one more jump, but it's a red flag, so Christian Reif will not sneak this away from the American. Look at that. He thought he was on the board. He thought he might have gone far enough when he came out of that pit, and then he looks back and sees the red flag. Well, the European champion, that would have been a huge scalp if he could have taken it here. He's in second place, so will remain there. 8 meters 11 in the 5th round. Close, but not quite close enough. Well, still getting over that 5,000 meters, and the times are coming up. It is a new national record for Mo Farah in 5th place. As we see Dwight Phillips in the final jump, in the long jump. He's got the competition won. He's won the diamond race as well. Now, what can he finish off with here? Been a difficult night in the field at Zurich. Oh, that's well, not the flourish he would have liked to finish with from Dwight Phillips, but he's been so dominant this year. He maintains it right through to the end. More competitions to come, of course, but not in the men's long jump in the Diamond League. So in not too long, he'll be walking over to pick up one of those trophies.
Well, what a distance race that was to finish the racing of individual events tonight. The men's sprint relay to come. That promises to be a real humdinger with the British team in there as well. But Dwight Phillips, well, at the grand old age of 32, He's pretty much untouchable when he comes up against the rest of the world, isn't he? 8:20, winning comfortably tonight.
So there's confirmation then. Didn't have to be at his best. It was good enough though. 8:20, 8:11 for Reif, and then Chris Tomlinson in third place.
Well, Murga is confirmed as the Diamond League race winner. His grand total 16 points to Tarugo Bekele's 14. Pretty close, that one. But I can tell you that the first 6 men home, breaking 13 minutes. Mo Farah, 12:57.94. Fabulous stuff.
And I guess just a word for whenever anyone loses a record, it's been, I was just adding it up, 28 years, that British record. Dave Moorcroft
Wish you hadn't reminded me.
1982, wasn't it? Well done to Mo Farah, with Bekele taking the plaudits at the front, but what a great race. There's a result.
Tarugo Bekele then taking the 5,000 metres. Murga is confirmed as Diamond League champion, second tonight. Chris Zielinski in third. The first 6 men under 13 minutes in that 5,000.
Well, we said earlier on the pole vault wasn't the best of competitions for some of the expected to be better performance. Spielberg, best he could manage, 4:61. And then we saw earlier on Fiafanova, who went out after having had a failure at 4:76 and then 2 at 4:81. So the best she could manage tonight, 4:71. And that meant that the winner, and we haven't seen much of her this evening, but she was a clear winner indeed. It's been a superb season for her. Been totally dominant. The world indoor champion, Fabiana Mura, was 5th outdoors last year. And she's had a superb year, of course, been able to shine in the absence of Isinbayeva, and has had a level of consistency that most of the others have not been able to match. 4:81, good enough tonight. One in Rome, one in Eugene, one in Monaco, one in London, and now wins in Zurich tonight. So their confirmation, 4:81, the winning height for Mura, and in the end it was a fairly comfortable win ahead of Fiafanova of Russia and Spiegelberg of Germany taking third place. One or two disappointing performances further down. Well, the last event on the track, still getting over that 5,000 metres. Great race. We've got a relay here with teams from Netherlands, Australia, Great Britain, United States, with a very strong team, Jamaica, Switzerland, Poland and Canada. Well, this is the Dutch lineup. There you can see there in lane 1, Philip, Codrington, Fella and Spillicom. I think this could be a cracking race here. The American team, there were some sprint races held earlier on this evening, as we see the Australians there. And they're getting a new team together. Of course, Commonwealth Games coming up in Delhi. And Australia will be hoping to do well there, I'm sure, in the relay. And we're going to see the British and American quartets, and they've already had a little bit of a run out earlier on. And although Christian Malcolm didn't run, Noel Balogun did, Marlon Devenish did, and Mark Lewis Francis did. But in the 100 metres that Lewis Francis and Devenish was in, there was a false start from Lewis Francis, who initially thought he'd run 10.17. And I think they were looking, or they will be looking forward to the relay, but not as much as this American team. This has been picked by John Smith. He was given the job of all of the Americans on offer here, and this is the team. It's Kimmins, Spearman, Tyson Gay, Mike Rogers. Kimmins ran 9.95 in that 100 metres, which was not part of the main programme earlier on this evening. And of course we saw Spearman run a superb 200 metres. Tyson Gay and Mike Rogers, they'll go close to the American record if they can get the baton round. Speaking of which, the Jamaican team, Forsyth and Freighter, were in that 100, and they actually stopped running. They were aware of the false start, and they ran a good 50-60 metres or so.
Well, it was a weird one, Steve. The recall only went up to 50 metres, so the two Jamaicans heard it. They stopped, the rest carried on.
Well, the Swiss team, I mentioned them earlier on, they're on the front of the programme here in the Weltklasse. Fourth place in the European Championships. Actually, their gold medalist, Victor Rötlen, got the evening off to a a nice start. Did a lap of honour, the man who won the gold medal in the marathon. And they'll be looking for something special to finish off the evening from their Swiss relay team. Poland outside them in 7th, and then Canada in lane 8. But all eyes are going to be on, I suspect, the 3 middle lanes, but particularly United States in 4. The Jamaican team, of course, it doesn't have its big stars of Bolt and Powell. No we've got Michael Frater, no Nestor Carter in there, but with Forsyth, Frater, Mullings and Blake, and they're running outside of the Americans, they're going to have something to run at. You saw Spearman there, he's going to be on the back straight. And bringing them home, wearing the headband as usual, the USA Mike Rogers, this World Indoor silver medalist this year, and he was actually preferred to Ryan Bailey on the last leg. Michael Frater, Jamaica, and there's Tyson Gay. Gay's going to be on the top bend. He's going to be, we'll have Marlon Devonish inside him. He'll be chasing Steve Mullings, who ran well, pretty decently in the individual 200. The individual 200 wasn't that long ago. But this could be pretty special indeed. The last event of the evening. So the Jamaican team in lane 5 outside the Americans, a superb American team. If they get the baton round, they could be in for something pretty special. 37.4 is the American record. Of course, the world record held by Jamaica, which was broken in the Olympic Games. There's a lot of noise there, and I don't think the Canadian lead runner Sam Effa is particularly enjoying that, so he asks if they can stand up, and they duly do. I think they're cheering for the Swiss team. I'm looking around the stadium, I cannot see anything else going on. All of our events have finished, so I think it's just a bit of excitement from the crowd. It's been a superb crowd, and they're looking forward to a bit of a fireworks display later on at the end. And I wonder what the relay team can produce here. They're in lane 6. So down to their marks again. Canada are in 8, inside them Poland in 7, Switzerland are in 6, Jamaica are in 5, United States are in 4, Great Britain in 3, Australia in 2, and the Netherlands on the inside in 1. That's Trell Kimmins, the lead-off man for the USA. They get away cleanly. And Trell Kimmins has started very, very quickly indeed, and the USA may well have a lead. Canada have gone well in lane 8 right on the outside. Let's see how the baton changing is. It's good. Wallace Spearman has it. So the USA already up on Jamaica and going well. Canada still going well. Great Britain trying to get into it in lane 3. Marlon Devonish gets the baton for them, but Tyson Gay is away and gone. Already past Jamaica and is absolutely flying round the top bend. And he's going to give it to Mike Rogers. It's not the best of changes, but Rogers has got it safely. Jamaica in 2nd, Great Britain 3rd. And just watch the clock here. Mike Rogers of the USA. And 37.46. They were after the American record, and they came so close. 37.46. Just 600ths of a second away. And I think, Tim, when they look back on that, they had a couple of decent changes. This is a cobbled together team, and if not for that last change, I think it was just a little bit hesitant between Gay and Rogers. It's been taken down to 37.45, the quickest in the world this year, a meeting record and almost an American record on a team that was put together at the last minute.
Yeah, and as you said, Steve, certainly that third changeover wasn't brilliant. But they got the baton round, that's the important thing. Make sure the changeovers are safe. And they get that trophy for one of the fastest times ever. If you finish, been rounded down to 37.45. So one of the fastest times ever. It is a meeting record, and yet again, to set a meeting record with us in a meeting, a gathering, a stadium with as much tradition as this, a performance has absolutely got to be special. So quick time, not a US record. It was a cobbled together team. There wasn't the pressure and the emotion and the adrenaline perhaps of a major championship. That would probably have made enough difference. Yeah,
just that last change wasn't particularly smooth, but I guess you can allow them a little bit of leeway. This team, not one which is used to running together, although Tyson Gay and Rogers may well have run together on one or two occasions. And he was stretching for it, wasn't he? He's looking, he knows they've gone round quick, and was hoping upon hope that they might get it. Tyson Gay ran a superb bend, really was fantastic round that top bend. He is in great form, Tyson Gay. Not competing individually here tonight, just part of this team. No 100 metres in the main programme, and he decided not to run in the 200. That's a very quick time nonetheless. Super run from the American quartet. Jamaica didn't do too bad, did they, without their big names? 37.76, and Great Britain in third place, 38.41.
Well, it hasn't been a night of nearly performances, that's for sure. There's been several stadium records, meeting records I should say, and world leading performances as well. Think back to Jeremy Warren and that 44.13 in the 400 to win his Diamond League title.
So 37.45, fastest in the world this year, and Jamaica, Great Britain taking the minor placings. Switzerland managed 5th.
It's been a good evening, Steve. Hard to pick the best of the bunch. I mean, do you say it was Warren, or do you say it was Dave Oliver, the 12.93, and into a slight headwind? He made mistakes. He's come out and quoted after the race already for us here in the stadium that he'll iron out those mistakes and the world record will come. Lopez Schleep, 12.53. I mean, you know, it was just about every event absolutely top notch.
They were, and we've just seen Spearman handing the Gay there. That's a good place to park yourself, isn't it? The insect doesn't come with the trophy, by the way. They're extra. Yeah, Spearman, 1979 in the 200. Great performance from him as well. So I think those three are the standouts: Warren, and Spearman, and Oliver. I wouldn't necessarily, if you push me, I will choose, but I know you won't.
I wouldn't dream of pushing you. No, we didn't get a sub 4 in the women's 1500 metres. We didn't get sub 8 in the men's steeplechase, but it seems rather churlish almost to point out those or suggest those are negatives in what has been a glorious evening here in the Lexington. 26,000 spectators, very happy indeed. Take your pick as to the best performance of the night. The champions, Spearman, Oliver, Phillips, Langat, Mura, Ostapchuk, of course, for that shot yesterday, Warner, Ukov, and Felix, Spencer and Rees amongst the women's Diamond League champions for 2010. The inaugural Samsung Diamond League season, having the first of its two finals here tonight in Zurich on the glorious night. Very, very satisfactory level of competition, it has to be said. There'll be plenty more to come in Brussels in a week's time. Wallace Spearman, 19.79. That was one of the meeting records, winning the Diamond League with 13 points. Of course, Dwight Phillips, 8 metres 20, won the Diamond League from Fabrice Lapierre by a big margin. 24 points for the American from the Australian Lapierre's 11 points. Well, the Melns.
Kelly Spencer,
I was going to say.
400 hurdles.
Yeah, that was a personal best, 53.33 for her. Brittany Rees, 6.89 in the long jump, 18 points her tally to take the Diamond League title. And Paul Kipsiele College in that steeplechase, 8.01.74, just 17 points.
Fabiana Mura, we just saw, who won the pole vault, 4.81, 23 points. And I think this is a really nice way of celebrating. Spatakova just coming out. There's Ukov, who won the high jump fairly comfortably this evening. There's Spatakova. And to pick up her diamond trophy. They're great trophies as well. We had the two shot put competitions were held actually yesterday in Zurich, their main train station, and Ostapchuk. There's only 50 trophies out there because Ostapchuk already carried off her trophy yesterday. There she is, actually, joining the party. So she was the first winner, and the men's shot put will be decided next week.
This is nice, isn't it? And I don't think this will detract from a season in which there's a global championship. Next year, of course, Daegu in the World Championships, the Diamond League will march on its merry way through 2011. But of course, the majority of these athletes compete in the majority of these meetings anyway. The women's 100 metres. Good win tonight. It was a performance that for Veronica Campbell-Brown couldn't deny coming into Jeddah. her Diamond League title, both of them on 10.89. The Jamaican winning tonight from Jetta, the American, but Jetta winning with 21 points to Campbell Brown's 14. $40,000 for each of those winners, another $20,000 if they set up a world-leading performance, $10,000 of that for a stadium record.
They do get a nice piece of jewellery with a small diamond in it as well as the cash, so something to take home as well as the money.
Confirmation of those diamond race winners confirmed tonight and or yesterday, with the shot put of course being yesterday. And the Diamond League season, the inaugural Diamond League season, will reach its climax next week in Brussels, August the 27th. That's on Friday next week. We of course shall be in the Baudouin Stadium in Brussels. I hope you'll be able to join us there. It's been a great evening from Steve Cram and myself, Tim Hutchings. Bye-bye for now.